Ten Commandments, and they're not what you think they are. Yes, there are some rules that are written down in the Bible, in Exodus actually, which the Bible says were given by God to Moses. The background is that Moses led his chosen people out of Egypt and he took them to Mount Sinai. And we've got a picture of Mount Sinai here. Whilst he was there, God gives him 3 sets of rules. And the first set includes the usual 10 Commandments. And they go something like this. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. I'm not going to go through all of them in this detail, but this one's interesting. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of their parents to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. I haven't seen that on any tablet recently. The third one is, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Honour your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbour. And you shall not covet your neighbour's house. You shall not covet your neighbour's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox, his donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbour. So that is the 10 that we know pretty much. But it's not left there at all in Exodus. It goes on and on. There's 53 more rules, in fact, in making a total of 63 in total. So, what do they include? They include, for example, at 12, make an altar of earth for me and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, your sheep and your goats and your cattle. Wherever I cause my name to be honoured, I will come to you and bless you. If you make an altar of stones for me, do not build it with dressed stones, for you will defile it if you use a tool upon it. And do not go up to my altar on steps, or your private parts may be exposed. God is concerned about people exposing their private parts. At 20 in the rules come, anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result. But they are not to be punished if their slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property. An original one. At 36 we get, anyone who has sexual relationships with an animal is to be put to death. And at 43, and this one's a bit of a wow, you must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them to me on the 8th day. Wow. And finally, at number 63, and God seems fairly keen on this one, do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Just don't do it. So, God isn't finished yet. He wants to give Moses even more laws and rules. And they're all associated with building a temple or a tent to him. And that's going to hold the Ark of the Covenant and the altar of burnt offering and an altar of incense. Now, these rules go on and on and on. I printed them out and they went to 17 pages of A4. Just to take one example, and it is all very specific on building the temple, and here the priest is going to be consecrated. It's, bring the bull to the front of the tent of the meeting, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on its head. Slaughter it in the Lord's presence at the entrance of the tent of the meeting. Take some of the bull's blood and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and pour out the rest of it at the base of the altar. And on it goes and gives details about what to do with the kidneys, what to do with the fat, and the details of how the temple and the tent are to be built are very specific and go on at extreme length. God eventually writes it down on 2 tablets for Moses. He gets the 17 pages of A4 onto 2 tablets. Moses takes the tablets down the mountain, and he's 80 by this point, by the way, so he seems to be pretty fit at that point. He comes down and he's about to convey the tablets to his people when he sees that they've built a fatted calf. He's not happy with this, and he smashes the tablets that he spent 40 days and nights getting from God. So God's not finished. He wants to give Moses even more rules, and he says this time these are going to actually be the 10 Commandments. And he says that for the first time. These are the real 10 Commandments that we've been waiting so long for. And at number 1 we have, be careful not to make a treaty with those who live in the land, for when they prostitute themselves to their gods and sacrifice to them, they will invite you and you will eat their sacrifices. And when you choose some of their daughters as wives for your sons, and those daughters prostitute themselves to their gods, they will lead your sons to do the same. I don't really remember that in the usual 10 Commandments version. So, they carry on. Do not make any idols. Okay? Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread. 4, the first offspring of every womb belongs to me. 5, keep the Sabbath. 6, celebrate the festival of weeks. 7, 3 times a year all your men are to appear before the sovereign Lord. At 8, do not offer the blood of a sacrifice to me along with anything containing yeast. Don't really understand that one, but there you go. 9, bring the best of the first fruits of your soul to the house of the Lord your God. And I told you God was keen on this one. At number 10 we have, do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. So those are the real 10 Commandments. Moses then goes away and commands his people to build the tent with the Ark of the Covenant and all of the associated altars. And the people do it. Moses blesses it, and that's the end of Exodus. So, there you have it. Now you know the real 10 Commandments. Thanks for watching.